now, okay?
Okay. With the record button.
Record and go live. Is it recording? No, it's not recording. No media. No media. Lucas has a media. Lucas has.
I don't know.
Hold on.
Almost done. Ryan, you should take a picture of it.
We started streaming.
Do you mind?
Are you ready?
We had a good enough light.
Okay, love. I usually was so
And you hold the camera up, any of our faces in the shade.
I love the way I put on you.
Love it.
My strategy.
Okay. Thank you.
It might be good, but so when I get home this evening and I have all these pictures of us, I'll send us the best.
No, that's not. I think it's the color.
I have tissues. She has
We
that.
didn't look like
Yeah,
that.
I'm gonna get a water. Does anyone else want water? Yeah, can you grab
I felt bad about how what a hard time
Yeah, no.
We brought Celsius, we got chips, popcorn. What did you get this season? I got some we sell variety packs. I mean, I usually do. Oh, yeah. Yeah, someone told me that I need to get the powder.
The powder, I think, tastes better than the can.
Ford's here. Jackson's in. Dennis Benshoff, I think we are soon.
Tighter is better. Tighter is better.
Michael said it was longer than that. He's like, no, I don't feel like it.
Have fun, man.
Please don't be dead.
My only capabilities are color.
Eyes forward.
When we have an emergency. Yeah.
Rain must have come in. Well, at least it's not like last time it was all over.
Yes. It's gonna get warm enough to sit here.
Oh my God!
You can.
Do you want to?
Whatever you think the best shot is.
I
What are you
think
trying to get?
I think it's better to be. Yeah, I think it's
So
better.
we're semi-locked down by a cable. But we can move over.
Is it locked?
It's stapled up there.
Yeah,
But
so we can move over.
yeah. Is it go live right now?
It is live.
Here.
Where are you going?
Here? I was saying maybe.
You go, yep.
Hi. I'm good now.
That's good, I think.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna work.
And then I'll move it back. Here. We need to.
Now he's right in front of my picture case.
No. Okay. This is good.
What up, Floyd?
So Mike is not plugging in. I talked to Mike, he's not plugging in. So are you going to move down there when this is done?
Yeah, I will move.
You did?
But I need your help.
Okay,
Moving.
I better get out of the way then.
You can come after the teachers arrive, like after everyone's done, if you don't want to stay here. No, I'm changing it after.
Oh, that's fine. I
when
just
they're all
wanted to
done.
make sure we were recently together.
Yeah, that was me. It's a good camera. Are you
Oh, gotcha. Oh, you're streaming from right there.
Hey, how you doing? Good. Good to see you.
Miss Nurse Diana was looking for you.
How many cameras you got? I got 2 and then a drone. Jesus. So, slow down, right, kid? Jesus. You're mainly 9%.
I know.
If you get some guys running off the dock. Yeah, I'll get them kind of preparing and then I'll follow them down. And then,
What are you going to do from here?
and then you're getting all the ones as they go up and get their diplomas. I'm going to just do some candy. Is there a way you could get me, I'm an island. Because I've got a drive all set up.
gotta hold it for me. Nah, shit, I gotta do it.
They tried to save it over the past year.
Mom, you want me to wear shades for the picture of my diploma or no? You want me to wear shades or normal lashes for my picture with the diploma?
Maybe put them in your pocket.
They were trying to
Put them in your pocket. Any day.
Like right here, like specifically? What was our favorite tree to sit under graduation?
Filling places. Faculty are coming through. Follow Ricky when the time comes. Have fun, gentlemen. Gentlemen, the faculty are coming through. Morning. All right.
Are they live streaming? Is that the live stream? Hey, drop some W's in the chat right quick. Tell them I scored a goal. I'm letting you know. Can you see it?
Please be seated. Behold this beautiful day. Thank you. Let us pray. God of joy and hope, we thank you for this time of graduation and celebration for the class of 2022. Your spirit of wisdom has empowered their hard work and discipline in such a way that their hunger for learning has been nourished with knowledge, discovery, creativity, and determination. As they prepare to walk up and receive their diplomas, let them walk in prayerful gratitude for the many blessings that have made this moment real and filled with great potential. In gratitude, we pray for their families and the many who have sacrificed and worked to see them to this hopeful moment. In gratitude, we pray for the faculty and staff who have challenged and cared for them along this journey. In gratitude, we pray for all that they have taught each other about friendship, collaboration, and sharing. God, they have faced many challenges and accomplished much. And now as their lives move into a new chapter where there will be more challenges to face and more will be demanded of them. May your Spirit guide them as they unfold the next chapters of their lives. Help them to enliven hope in the world and bring good things to your kingdom. And may this celebration be a reflection of the blessings that we find in knowing and loving you. For this is the day that you have made. We are glad and we rejoice in it. Amen.
Good morning. And welcome to the commencement ceremony for the class of 2022. On behalf of the faculty, it's my honor to welcome you to this morning's celebration. And it is indeed that. This is a celebration of the accomplishments of the class of 2022. But it's also a little bit of a bittersweet moment. Graduations always are. This is the last time that this group of students and this group of faculty will all be in the same place at the same time again. It's also the last time that this tree will be at graduation. It's the last graduation for this tree. You might have noticed it's dead. Tripp told me you should mention something about the dead tree in this welcome address. And I rushed out of his office and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize there was a dead tree out there. So I came out here and I looked around and I said, I hope I can tell which one is the dead tree. And it's clearly that one. You know, the crazy thing though is it's so obviously dead. It's so obvious. I walk by this tree every day on my way to work and every day on my way home from work, and I just never paid attention to it. And I think this morning's celebration, this morning's ceremony is a time to really notice and appreciate some of those things that seem so obvious but that we don't always talk about. You know, how much your parents love you and the sacrifice they made to send you to this school, how much the faculty cares about you, how much they've invested in you, and really just how proud of this class 2022 that all of us are. You've been through a lot, more than many classes that have come before you. So we're very proud of you. Congratulations, and really enjoy this morning. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Amber Wilkins, and I'm the Director of College Counseling here. But I also have the fun job of working with our senior student council representatives. So I am excited today to jumpstart the presentation of awards by presenting our senior class representatives with medals of service and thanks for their hard work and dedication and service this year. So on behalf of your class and the student body as a whole, thank you. So if we could have senior class representatives Houston Emery and Mickey Robio, Vice President Mike Wong, and President Derrick Godwin please come to the stage. Gentlemen, you have served your class well. You have modeled the way, listened to your peers, brought energy and excitement to the campus, and have left a lasting legacy on this school. While your service has come to an end, the lives you have impacted, mine especially, will remember what you did for them. The changes that you have initiated will allow this new class of leaders to flourish, and the way in which you have served has shown us that when you come together as a class, nothing can stop you. So on behalf of the senior class and the faculty and staff, thank you. Thank you for your hard work and dedication, all while keeping fun at the heart of it all.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Peter Cole, and one of the tasks I took on here was Mr. Darren asked me to become the head of the Student Faculty Disciplinary Committee, and 9 months ago when I took that job, I had a full head of hair. But, as you can see, senior class has given me that gift. Student Faculty Disciplinary Committee is a group of 4 students and 3 faculty members who, although it sounds kind of ominous what our task may be, we actually try to help the student body. Whether they've made a bad decision or something, we always try to guide them and make recommendations that were fair. Mr. Darren always came up with the final decision, which was fair, and most importantly, what we wanted to do was make sure that everybody was safe at this community and that the decisions that were made were the best for the community. So I'd like to bring up the 4 members, the student members of the Student Faculty Disciplinary Committee. That would be Nick Berger, Gabe Dedu, Alan Lee, and Mike Wong. So I actually, my wife asked if she could join this committee next year because I spent more time with these guys than I did with her. So, but these must be a sign. Anyway, I'd like to present these awards to these guys because, believe me, they earned it.
Members of the Honor Council, please rise. As members of the Honor Council, every one of you was a great role model. You conducted yourselves with high standards of honesty and decency. You led by word and by example. When acting in a judicial capacity, you've tempered justice with compassion, and your recommendations were always well-reasoned and many times even wise. Congratulations and thank you. Would you all please come up to receive your award? This will be Robert Boyd, Wee, Lucas Dudley, Derrick Godwin, John Hess, Mickey Rubio, and also back home in China was Zach Wynn.
Hey, I'm Benton Bruton. I'm the Associate Head for Operations. I'm going to honor the prefects. If the prefects will please stand. In many ways, prefects are our most visible leaders. They're kind of the masters of the daily grind. They have glamorous jobs like waking up teenage boys in the morning, having them take out the trash, clean the hall, make sure they're on time for things, and go to bed on time so parents can commiserate with how hard that is. But behind the scenes, all that, that's the job description, but what really happens and makes them valuable is their real leadership consists of comforting guys who might be homesick or dealing with a real problem. They give great advice, and every day they get up knowing that all the eyes of the school are on them and they've got to set an example for what right looks like. And that's a really heavy job to bear for in a 24/7 environment. And guys, I want to thank you for giving that your best every day. So I'm going to call them up. We don't have room on the stage for all of you, so we're going to be out in front a little bit. Come on up when I call your name and we'll recognize you. Malik Brown. Yeah, Gabe Daydu. Lucas Dudley. Houston Emery. Derrick Godwin. John Hess. Alan Lee. Mickey Rubio. Matt Sawyer. Mike Wong.
Good morning. My name is Parker Kerwin, or better known as PK. I'm the athletic director here at Blue Ridge. I have the honor of presenting 5 athletic awards to members of this class of 2022. These 5 students contributed to a number of our programs, and were leaders in their respective sports. I also had the honor of teaching all 5 of them. The first award is the Billy Pace Award. This award goes to the senior who has shown a great deal of enthusiasm for the sports in which he played. This senior brought grace and energy to all the sports he played and has been a key leader and player for the soccer program in his 3 years. He has led the team to new heights during his career and plays with a spirit that is unmatched. The Billy Pace Award goes to Miguel Robio. Next up is the Frank Pendleton Award, which goes to the senior who has excelled because of hard work. Over his 3 years here, this student has shown growth as an athlete and as a leader. It's hard to think of a day where this guy wasn't the first one down on the turf for practice. Despite what week it was, I wonder if he actually took any classes, but he seemed to be on the turf first every afternoon. His dedication to improving molded him into a key member and co-captain of the lacrosse team. The Frank Pendleton Award goes to Fort Cardin. The Eddie Ray Collier Sportsmanship Award goes to the senior who has exhibited outstanding sportsmanship in all sports he participated. Few guys can match the energy that this young man brings to the sports he plays and watches. He is fair and generous during competition, except for that one time he got a technical foul, and that helped him become a 3-time state champion. The Eddie Ray Collier Award goes to Devin Walker. Good stuff, Hilda. Next, we have the Stim Hawkins Award, which goes to the senior who has contributed the most to the athletic program. This senior reminds me a lot of my favorite athlete of all time, Tim Duncan. He is humble, a model of consistency, a defensive menace, a great teammate, a sneaky good trash talker, and a champion. His accolades are grand. Conference Player of the Year, State Player of the Year, and 4-time state champion. Along with these accolades, the student serves as an example of how to carry oneself and treat others, perhaps his greatest gift. The Stim Hawkins Award goes to Malik Brown. The final award is the Athletic Director's Award, which goes to the senior who has contributed the most to a program over 4 years. This young man has fought through a lot of adversity during his 4 years here. Injuries, COVID, mono, any of which could have deterred him from continuing to play. But despite these hurdles, this student stayed the course, always improving, never complaining, and instead serving as a leader for the program. When he overcame his battles, his contributions on the court were key to the team's success. His impact on campus and the basketball program is felt by many, and he leaves Blue Ridge as a 4-time state champion as well. The Athletic Director's Award goes to Houston Emery.
Hi, I'm Jamie Borland, and I'm here to give the Angelus Drama Award. This year's recipient has had a good run of things, the past 4 years on set crew. This past winter, he was the set crew. There was nobody else. He's used great, big, noisy, dangerous power tools. He's learned to wire up both low and high voltage electrical circuits. He even had the chance to work with theatrical pyrotechnics. And that means explosives. Strangely enough, he still has all 10 fingers. What sets this young man apart is he quickly grasped 2 important facts. If we don't build things properly, people get hurt, and if people get hurt, it's our fault and nobody else's. Craftsmanship and accountability, 2 valuable traits that will carry him far. Of course, I'm talking about Matt Sawyer.
I'm Chrysantha Hermanson, and I teach English. First, I just want to say that I think I can speak on both, on my behalf, obviously, and Mr. Bruton's behalf. We teach all the seniors when it comes to English, and I think that we probably could have awarded each student an English award for some aspect of what you did this year. It was a pleasure, but we can't. The study of literature, ultimately, is the willingness to join an old and ongoing conversation about what it means to be human. Lucas, with every text I gave you, you deeply listened to what the author was trying to say. You honored these authors and their experiences by not rushing through their stories. You sat and heard the nuances and complexities of what they wanted you to know. And then after you listened to their stories, you responded to them with questions and your own thoughts and experiences in an eloquent and honest way. And you often left me thinking, why didn't I think of that? Lucas, this is the English award, but ultimately, for me, this is an award honoring your ability to listen to people's stories, no matter their differences from you, and join in a conversation in a genuine and deeply thoughtful way. Lucas Dudley.
So my initials are, my name's Peter Cole, my initials are PC, and it definitely doesn't mean politically correct. I'm the ELL director, and I have 2 awards today. The first award goes to a guy that came here a couple years ago and spoke very little English. He was quite grumpy here, actually. I'm not quite sure if he liked it here. Turned into be one of the most lovable guys that we have on campus, and his English improved 180 degrees. He just worked so hard. So I'd say he's definitely the most improved English language learner I probably ever taught. So Chiaki, Inyo, come on up. I also have a case of orange Fanta for him in my car for a graduation present. That'll go with the other 70 gallons he's ordered this year. The second award is to just one of the sweetest kids I've ever met. He's unfortunately 7,500 miles away in China, but he's a 4-year boy. He came here also lacking the English skills, and I'm not quite sure if I helped him, but he did a good job. He did a great job. He came around and he actually, before he left, he was actually helping other students, and I'm talking native speakers of English and math and science with their work as well too. So he came from basically zero language skills on up to becoming a tutor basically. And I wish he was here. I'd love to give him a big hug. I miss him. Tim Wang. And here he comes. Oh, he's here. Man, beam me up, Scotty. I guess he got a really big head from that award.
Good morning. I'm Wendy Evans, Director of the Fishburne Learning Center, also known as the FLC. One role of the FLC is to help students build traditional college readiness skills in those who may not learn in traditional ways. As is true with all facets of helping Blue Ridge School students develop into confident young men, the FLC provides students a comfortable place to embrace diversity. They may learn differently. They may demonstrate their knowledge differently. But their aspirations are the same. Their journey just may follow alternate paths. I have an amazing team of learning specialists. Alexander Keeble, Janice Braisted, and April Leavenworth. I'd like to take a moment to thank them for the extraordinary work they do. You are fabulous. There are 16 seniors among this graduating class who've benefited from using the FLC at some time in their Blue Ridge School journey. All of them deserve recognition for the extraordinary effort they've demonstrated to earn this diploma. The FLC team and your families are extremely proud of you, but mostly you should feel proud. However, one of you will be receiving recognition in the form of an award. This person has become known among teachers and many of his peers as the hardest working student on campus. And though we have gorgeous views from anywhere on campus, he will tell you the best view is from sitting on a tractor. This award goes to Matt Sawyer.
Hola, chicos. Good morning, everybody. My name is David Mail, and I teach Spanish here at Blue Ridge. The Andrew Proctor Foreign Language Award is the senior award given for achievement in foreign language. This was a difficult decision because each of the seniors in my Spanish 4 class excelled in the fundamentals of learning advanced verb forms and advanced grammatical structures and had a lot of success as a result. But I settled on criteria that, going beyond the grades, showed a deeper level of dedication. First, consistent engagement in the classroom and active involvement and participation in our varied range of activities. Second, noticeable improvement, especially this year in listening skills, because this was one of the primary goals of the class. And third, a genuine interest in the language, which I was able to see both in the classroom and outside of it. With these criteria in mind, I found myself unable to choose between 2 students, and so I decided to give it to them both. The first recipient of this award was frequently the first or sometimes the only student in the class to hear a sentence or phrase as we were practicing listening skills with audios and videos of native speakers. His engagement with the language was genuine and authentic, and he was the most consistently alert member of the class. It was also obvious that he was listening outside of class to the Spanish spoken by his Spanish-speaking Baron brothers. Un saludo especial. I witnessed significant advancement in 2 years I had him as a student, and he has a great future with the language. The first Andrew Proctor Foreign Language Award goes to Ryan Newman. The second recipient, who I taught in 3 separate classes, was consistently the student most interested and involved with the language in general. He started speaking to me in Spanish sometime, I believe, in Spanish 3, although I think it was way back in Spanish 1 that he asked me how to say, "have a nice day" in Spanish, and thereafter never left the classroom without saying it. He studied lists of vocabulary on his own, and he liked to see if I knew the words. He had questions outside of class about the bands of Latin America. He was constantly trying to form his thoughts in Spanish and speak to me without using English. I fully expect his considerable skills to continue to grow well after graduation. The second Andrew Proctor Foreign Language Award goes to Blake Kenning.
Good morning. I'm here to present the award for excellence in history, and like Spanish, we have 2. The first is a student who is in Mr. Niederberger's class. Mr. Niederberger, I think it's fair to say you've taught a good number of students here over the years. Is that true? I think so. And you've read a lot of term papers. Many, many, many term papers. And this was a special year in Mr. Niederberger's class because one student this year was among the very best, the strongest that I've ever taken U.S. history to with Mr. Niederberger, and wrote an outstanding final paper on the Manhattan Project. That was really one of the best ever. And so that award goes to Lucas Dudley. The second history award goes to a student who absolutely loves history. He took Mr. Bennett's class this year, and he has loved all of the content and all of the material he's studied all 3 years that he's been here. We believe, as history teachers, that there's a good chance that the student will become a history teacher, and he will be a big credit to our profession. So Maybank Bergdorf, this award is for you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jim Douglas. I'm the math department chair, and I will be presenting the math award for excellence in mathematics. First of all, for those of you at the senior dinner last night, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It was a paragraph. I was asking you to write a paragraph. It wasn't an essay, a paragraph. Anyways, that being said, I told them this on the last day of class. My Calc 2 class this year was fantastic. It was the exact environment I've always wanted to have in a math classroom. It was me sitting there doing problems with them. We were discussing math. We would get stuck on a problem. We're like, okay, let's talk it out. And they very much latched on to that idea. And so in that sense, really, if you think about it, the winner of this award not only helped lead those discussions, but was inspired by his peers in his classroom who helped challenge him. They constantly pushed each other. But in the end, one student ended up rising to the top. Through all of that encouragement and challenging from his peers, this year's math award goes to Lucas Dudley.
Good morning, everybody. It's a gorgeous day, is it not? My name's Mike Vincent, and I am one of the music teachers here at the Blue Ridge School, and I'm going to present the Angelus Award for Music. It's been a great year, a bounce-back year, if you would, after the slings and arrows of outrageous COVID. We actually got to perform in school, had 3 separate concerts. I think that was the first time that occurred in about 2.5 years. And also had a chance to get the guys and their bands off campus to perform at the Greene County Arts Festival, which was really a lot of fun too. All seniors, you know who you are. I would name you all, but I'm old, feeble, and sick about it, so I might forget somebody, so I won't do that, but you're much appreciated. Please know this. The winner of the award, I must say, I would have been lost without this year. In a lot of ways, we grew immensely in that music room, building a recording studio, an actually functioning recording studio in their old music room in the student center. And it came about because we came back from COVID, and I had my jazz ensemble listed as an elective and went down from 16 kids to 4. Unusual instruments. We had a drummer, we had a fiddle player, we had a country guitar picker, and we had a guy who played euphonium, whatever that was. But we kind of put our heads all together, really, and decided, well, we could play some different instruments amongst us. So we created a band in the studio by recording individuals at a time, which was great for the guys because they got to learn to listen. They had to learn to count carefully and playing with a click track, which is a very, very difficult thing to do. So for a musical education basis, it was really, really good. That would not have happened without Lucas Dudley. It was his insight, his knowledge, his constant request for me to buy new gear. And I'd like to warn the visual and audio people at USC to increase your budget right now, because he's going to come in and tell you what you got is crap, so you need to get it better. So this will happen too. Much admiration, much appreciation, Lucas Dudley.
No. My name is Miss Burnett, but most of the students here know me as Miss Mitchell. And I have the honor of presenting 2 science awards today. Let me get my papers in order. All right, so this first award is called the Senior Science Award. The Senior Science Award goes to a student who has fully embraced Blue Ridge School's science course offerings by demonstrating high achievement and effort in biology, chemistry, anatomy, and physics. This student is a 4-year boy who has demonstrated tremendous growth since his 9th grade year, in part due to his incredible and obvious love for the sciences. He is curious, passionate, and persistent, all skills that make a great scientist. The Science Department would like to recognize Pui Bui as the winner of the Science Award. Achievement Award, but the Science Department is giving out the Lifetime Overachiever Award. This goes to a student who goes above and beyond what is asked. He takes full advantage of the liberty given to him in any science class, and he's been a role model to those students around him. The winner of this award has demonstrated incredible creativity in his work, which has led to some of the best projects that I've ever seen as a teacher. He has made a lasting impact on Blue Ridge, both in and out of the classroom, which is why this award goes to Lucas Dudley.
As you have just heard, there are many scholars in this class of 2022, but there can only be one scholarship award. And this is the award that goes to the student who has the highest GPA in the class. Usually we have to take this out many, many decimal places, and this year was no exception. This year's scholarship award recipient is Mike Wong.
Good morning. My name is John Hetzel, and I'm the newly minted interim director of the Barron Fund. The Barron Fund was led by Ms. Boyd, who did an outstanding job. She's a wonderful mentor. I have huge shoes to fill, but I'm going to do my best. The Barron Fund provides you, our school's constituents, students, faculty and staff, parents, both alumni and current parents, and our alumni themselves, who are the biggest benefactors of the school, with the opportunity to engage in sponsoring our programs, our vast array of programs, which makes Blue Ridge School a rich place for your kids to go to school. I'm honored to invite two distinguished alumni to help present the 2022 Alumni Award. The first is a 2021 graduate, very popular with the guys, last year's recipient of the Alumni Award. He's currently a rising sophomore at the College of Charleston, Ben Faulkner. Come on down. And along with him is a graduate of 1988, a four-year boy and student leader at BRS. He graduated from Stratford College. He's a founder and CEO of Deacon Chef Incorporated, a ministry that feeds homeless. He works teaching special needs high school students the joy of cooking. Chef Scipio is the father of Will Scipio Jr., who's also on track to be a four-year boy. He's a rising senior here. He's following in his dad's footsteps. Will is also on the Alumni Leadership Council, which is an all-star group of our alumni that get together and help achieve things here at school. So.
Good morning. It is my honor to announce the winner for the Alumni Award. This year, the award is given to two members of the graduating class of 2002, deemed by their peers as the most likely to do a great job fulfilling the role of the Alumni Association agents.
In this role, these graduates will do important work to encourage your classmates to stay in touch with each other and the school, come back to reunions and events here, and to support the school as volunteers and financial donors. Their work will ensure that Blue Ridge School stays strong and healthy for many years to come. The 2022 Alumni Award will be shared by Mike Wong and Derrick Godwin.
All right, we're going to start a new phase of the ceremony where we recognize students for citizenship. And the first group, this is a group of guys, it's a large group, young men who have accepted responsibility within the community, and then because they've bought in, they enjoy the benefits of belonging to that community. We chose this group by faculty vote, and prerequisite is generally staying out of trouble, but that's not enough. We're looking for guys that have really contributed something of themselves, reached out to their fellow Barron brothers, and just been helpful, embraced all the opportunities that the school provides, and thereby contributing to the success of the school. So, guys, when I call you up, just kind of gather in front, and we'll do a picture, and I'll give you something. Stuart Bladich. Robert Boyd. Malik Brown. Kui Boy. Fort Carden. Gabe Dadu. Owen Ferris. Nate Hamarillo. Ketch Kinsey. Alan Lee. Danton Malotke. Gray Owen. Caleb Schick. Lucas Shoebridge. Sam Smart. Alfonso Vera Corona. Devin Walker. Tim Wong and Zach Wynn.
Good morning. My name is Alexander Keeble. I am co-director of the Fishburne Learning Center. I'm a dorm parent, and most importantly, I'm an advisor. Today, I have the privilege of honoring one of my advisees with the SAR Outstanding Citizenship Award. This award goes to the senior who exhibits the qualities of dependability, cooperation, leadership, and patriotism. This young man earning this award today is an individual who doesn't often get recognized. He isn't exactly quiet or shy, nor does he stick to himself. Perhaps the reason that he's not received recognition in the past for his extraordinary good deeds is because everything he does is behind the scenes. Whether he is collaborating with friends to organize and lead a D&D adventure, venturing off with Mr. Bruton and the Outdoorsmen, or single-handedly operating the fantastically challenging light and sound booth for our theatrical musical productions, this young man works tirelessly to ensure that this community is well tended to. He exhibits dependability by his willingness to go above and beyond to help with anything that Ms. Hogan, Ms. Vincent, Mr. Vincent, or I need in the auditorium. He is cooperative in how he collaborates with others with affection and care. He is a natural leader who inspires empathy. He is a patriot who cares enormously for his community and his country. It is my pleasure, my great pleasure, to present this award to Maybank Bird Boy. At this time, I would like to invite up Peggy Williams.
What a pleasure to be here today and on such a gorgeous day. I am Peggy Williams with the Alumni Chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. The DAR is an organization that honors those who worked for the independence of our country. It was founded over 135 years ago and more than 1 million women have joined. DAR is dedicated to promoting patriotism, preserving American history, and securing America's future through better education for youth. The DAR Good Citizens Award was created in 1934, and it is intended to encourage and reward the qualities of good citizenship. The award recognizes and rewards individuals who possess the qualities of dependability, service, leadership, and patriotism in their homes, schools, and communities. These students are selected by their teachers and peers because they demonstrate these qualities. And I'm going to let someone else announce and describe the winner.
Just a few short days ago, this senior said to me that he expected not to receive an award at graduation. This wonderfully humble young man does not recognize the vast and lovely impact he has had on this campus and this community. Throughout his first 2 years here, he befriended mostly seniors. This proved challenging as his friends kept graduating before him, which left him with the need to advance his friend group year after year. Fortunately, his caring nature and kind demeanor attracted a group of equally amazing individuals. This young man earning this award has served with heart and strength over the last year on the Student Faculty Disciplinary Committee. As a member of arguably the most challenging student leadership role in which to serve, this individual aspired not to punish, but rather support his peer. Ooh, gotta stop looking at you. His peers and underclassmen. He asked probing questions and offered sound advice. He aimed to be an advocate for each member of this community. We are all fortunate to have this honorable, courageous leader who has served this community with his extraordinary leadership. It is my wonderful pleasure to present this award to Nick Berger.
My name is Matt Bennett, and I'm a teacher here at Blue Ridge School, and I'm also the head soccer coach. And I will be giving the John L. Tremor Award to the senior whose citizenship is exceptional and deserves recognition. This student's family and my family go way back. Both of my father and this student's grandfather were both incredible athletes in every way. They were both track stars and football stars. And the reason why we know that is because this student's father and my father, this student's grandfather and my father told us all the time how great athletes they were growing up all those years ago. So I was very happy to learn that he was visiting Blue Ridge. So he came and sat in a battle house, and he was sitting there with his father, and I said, isn't this a beautiful place? And he said, yeah, it is a beautiful place, and I'm glad I got to see it once, because I will not be coming here, and that's just the end of it. And something happened over the course of the summer, and he did come here. Wasn't always sure about being here. but he came around in the end. Blue Ridge has been all the better for that. He has been a leader on the basketball court. Despite having his fair share of bad luck over the last couple of years, he's handled that with bad luck with grace and humor. He's a senior prefect. He's a class officer, so he obviously responded to the call when we asked. But he also took it upon his own to start a prayer group amongst the students at Blue Ridge School, staying true to his faith. And lest the sinners be neglected, he also started a very, very wholesome poker club with his friend John Hess. He's a wonderful guy, and I'm very happy to note that he will be continuing his long association with the great state of Delaware as a member of the basketball team next year. The winner of the John L. Tremor Award is, of course, Houston.
Hey everybody, my name is Dave Welty. If you were here last night, I'm the obnoxious man that got his tire slashed last night. I deserve it, boys. I'm also the chair of the visual art department, last remaining member since the great watercolor disaster of '06. Rest in ceramics, monsieur. We miss you. I'm giving out the Mcfarlane Award to the senior who has quietly but steadily embraced the school's offerings and programs. Now, legend has it that the senior who got this award was kind of quiet. His father was fishing off in a small inlet near the eastern shore of Maryland when, on his way back, he felt some drag on the boat. Thinking not much of it, he got back, checked the bottom of his skiff and found nothing. But later that day, while he was working the fields, the baler got jammed up. Now, fixing a baler can be dangerous, okay? But the Sawyers are fearless people. So he popped open the hood and looked in the mechanism, and he was surprised to find, who had followed him home on his boat trip, a fully formed Matthew Sawyer down there, who looked up to his father and said, "Hey, Pop, what you got right here is a loose timing belt. Hand me a 3/16. We'll get you fixed right up." That story is at least 75% true. Matt is one of our finest guys. He's come an exceptionally long way. Four-year boy, prefect, and when he first came here, he came here as a farm kid. He was pretty much used to working quietly alone, being at peace, fishing, toiling on the fields, fixing things along with family and friends. And he got dropped in here with about 170 absolute maniacs. So it was a process of him to kind of learn how to deal with that and learn how to be a leader, and he really did over his 4 years here. As Mr. Borland said, he's been his right-hand man. He pretty much, him and Mr. Borland built the sets the last 4 years. And in the FLC, he's like the beacon of hope for what they can accomplish down there when they have a kid who has a great attitude and the tenacity of a bulldog. He doesn't quit. He doesn't boast. He doesn't yell. But he's managed to become a formidable leader in his own right, commanding respect through his actions and demeanor rather than demanding it. I felt really privileged to be his advisor because while we are enormously different people, we like to laugh together. He likes my dumb jokes. We have a mutual respect for each other, and we have a pride for doing hard work. He understands that if you want to get something done well, you should probably do it yourself, unless, of course, Matt Sawyer's around, and you should ask him. He's quietly embraced what we offer because at the end of the day here, Blue Ridge School was built for boys like him. When people ask who we are as a school and what kind of students we have, Matt's the guy that pops into my mind. Because while we really were able to help him achieve quite a bit here, I don't want to forget how much we need guys like him and how much we're going to miss him when he's gone. Matt Sawyer, come on up here and get this money.
Good morning. I'm Trip Darren. I'm the headmaster of Blue Ridge School, and it is my honor to present the Headmaster's Award to a senior for outstanding contributions to Blue Ridge School. I think it was the fall of 2018 when I first had a conversation with this young man. His parents hosted a school gathering, and this skinny little ninth grader was telling me all the reasons why, unlike his two brothers, he would never come to Blue Ridge School. Boy, am I glad he did. A shy, reserved new student in the 10th grade, this guy pushed himself to get outside his own comfort zone, to make friends, to make connections with teachers. And this year, 2 years later, he's known by peers as someone they can turn to for help. They know him as a kind, good-natured, inclusive person. This senior seeks out the kids who struggle socially and lets them know they have a friend. He's the truest of brothers keepers. This young man will befriend anyone from any background and not rest until they feel included. He's also a talented musician, an avid outdoorsman, and a reasonably solid baseball player on the varsity team. And yes, with his buddy Houston, he started a poker club, the popularity of which will ensure that it lasts after his graduation. As a student, he always comes to class with a great attitude. He worked hard to earn Dean's List in 5 of his trimesters, including every single one this year, a rare accomplishment for seniors. He's an exemplary member of our community, winning the Citizenship Award in both 10th and 11th grades. He's a 9-time winner of the Barron Award. Yes, every single one of the trimesters he was here. He's also a leader, serving as proctor in the 11th grade and then prefect this year, along with being a member of the Honor Council. This young man made outstanding contributions with everything he did here. And with 2 remarkable brothers as alums, I'm proud of the way this guy found his own way outside of their impressive shadow and made his own huge mark on Blue Ridge School. I'm very proud to present this year's Headmaster's Award to John Hess.
I love a surprise. But this surprise, you cannot believe how happy this makes me to do. This is the Roy Petty Award, which is to the senior who has distinguished himself by selfless service to the Blue Ridge School. And I can attest to that fact personally. This young man has been my advisee for 4 years. Most of the stuff I forget I have to do, he reminds me I have to do it. And I don't know what next year is going to be like. But he's a remarkable young man, hardworking, intelligent. It took him a little while to get used to me when he first came here. And just a little bit of example of the culture shock we sometimes suffer. I had the guys over for dinner at my house, and my wife does not like to be called Mrs. Vincent. She likes to be called Karen. And I told this to Mike, and it was like, I'm not supposed to do that. Well, you can do it now. You can do it now. So it is my pleasure to present the award to Mike Wong.
We are here to present the Thomas H. Wilcox Award to the prefects who have demonstrated outstanding leadership and service in the performance of their duties.
Hey, I'm Marta Kozlowski, and I'm the chair of the Foreign Language Department. And the Thomas H. Wilcox Award celebrates leadership and service. This young man is responsible, caring, friendly, and has been a better brother to his colleagues. I'm proud and happy to give this award to Mickey Robio.
This is unusual. By the way, my name is Hans Hermanson, Dean of Residence Life and founder and CEO of Hebrew National. Got you, Robert. No, in all seriousness, I work very closely with the prefects. And normally we only give this award to one student, but if you had the opportunity to see the freshman class, you would understand why we needed two on that hall. And they were a great tag team. Mickey, while he does have a heart, I feel like he often needed to call on his inner Ric Flair to keep the hall in check. Which was then balanced by the soft-hearted, loving, nurturing nature of his counterpart, Alan Lee, who has been my advisee for 4 years. Now, when Alan came here as a freshman, it was interesting. I had 4 seniors in my advisory, 3 of whom were prefects. And then I had little Alan. And by the end of the year, I thought to myself, my God, if we have not set this kid up for success, I do not know what else to do in life. And sure enough, 4 years later, he is receiving an award that is very befitting of the young man he has grown into. Alan, come here, please.
Clark Worthington Award is given to a senior who has had the most wholesome influence on the school community during his years as a student and as a leader. When I thought of the word wholesome, for some reason the image of a grandmother making cookies kept coming to my mind. But when I think of Lucas Dudley, he does not strike me as an old grandmother who's making cookies. So I had to put this award together in my head. But the longer I sat with the word wholesome, the more the word whole began to capture my attention. Lucas, for the last 3 years, I have watched you interact with students and faculty members. And I've watched you do something, though I don't know if you do it intentionally or intuitively. But when you interact with people, you allow them to be their whole self without judgment or criticism. I've seen you provide people here with a space to be their true self. And I think that you doing this has unquestionably had a wholesome influence, not just on this community at large, but me in particular. So thank you, and please come get the Clark Worthington Award.
So you'll all be happy to know that this is the last award before we have some music and then boys get their diplomas. So these people over here in the sun, if you could turn your chairs the other way, because I think you're about medium well right now. You could do the backside so we can have you for dinner after this. I have the honor of this year to present the St. George Award, which is given each year to a Blue Ridge School senior who has responded best to the Blue Ridge School philosophy and has demonstrated outstanding leadership. As the St. George Award stipulates, this year's winner has indeed demonstrated outstanding leadership this past school year. On the one hand, it is certainly true that this year's winner became an outstanding leader here, no doubt. On the other hand, it took time. He continuously earned his peers' respect over his 4 years here, combining charisma, compassion, academic grit, with a searing wit that could roast the unroastable and have you rolling on the floor laughing. Now, I won't be able to list every accolade this young man has earned here at Blue Ridge School over his 4-year tenure because we all want to catch those Christmas sales in December. But here are some of the highlights. Firstly, this year's St. George Award winner was a member of the Barron Brothers Keepers Committee, who are a group of boys who look out for their peers, and in a nutshell, take struggling students under their wing and provide additional support. Secondly, he's received the Good Citizenship Award here his freshman, sophomore, and junior years. He was a student council representative his freshman, sophomore, and junior years. And therefore, it would only seem fit that he got elected student body president this year, his senior year. Yes, you know who I'm talking about, Mr. President Derrick Godwin. So Derrick's work ethic in the classroom placed him either on the dean's list or the headmaster's list for academic excellence all 11 trimesters that he's been here thus far. And I assume when grades are out soon, in a couple of days, I'll have to update that to all 12 trimesters he's been here. Derrick was a proctor his junior year, he was a prefect his senior year. He was a member of this year's honor council. He started the Black Student Union. This school breathes, flourishes, and survives due to young men like Derrick Godwin. The legacy Derrick created here will remain forever, just radiating positivity and hope. Give me that smile. Just lights up the whole place, doesn't it? In conclusion, Derrick, if I look at your family name, Godwin, there is definitely a reason why you have that family name. That is, not only did God win when you came into this world, but the entire human race won. I selected him for that because I just wanted to use that line. It's the only reason why you get this award. So this soon-to-be University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill Tar Heel is destined to make this world a better place, just as he has made each and every one of you and my world here at Blue Ridge School a better place. So without further ado, Derrick, I'm going to give you this $500 check that you can pass on to me for that speech. And also, I guess because of the wind, they taped it on there. There you go. And let's take some pictures, brother.
Sorry, I know y'all just saw me, but good morning. My name is Derrick Garwin. I am the student body president, a prefect, and a member of our honor council. I'm sorry. I am from Durham, North Carolina, a small city next to Raleigh. This is an unreal moment. It feels like I've waited so long for this day. The long 4 years have finally come to an end. No more of that excited feeling you get waiting for Mr. Darren to announce a Hess Day, only to be disappointed when he begins to give announcements about the golf team. No more Krav Maga stripping away my Friday night. Mr. Bruton, where you at? I'm pretty sure most of us have dreamed of this day, some more than others, but we need to take a little step back and soak in these moments and these past years. I want to reminisce about the strong brotherhood, the loving community we have here, and some of the compassionate people in this community who made this all possible. Coming from Durham, I always went to school with kids who looked like me, so Blue Ridge was a major change for me. A student named Bo Hong Tien from Beijing, China was my freshman year roommate. Leaving home wasn't the biggest change or problem for me because I had stayed at overnight camps and whatnot, but living with a person who didn't even speak my language was incredibly different. I never had any problems with Bo Hong. He was probably one of the best roommates I had here until he set me up. Every time Bo Hong would eat something in the room, I'd be so excited to ask him what it was and have him explain the type of foods they ate in China. But this one day is the day I should have probably minded my business. And the label on the packaged food did look like something I should have avoided, but it was in Chinese. I was already hungry that night because I decided not to eat the beef stroganoff he chefed up. I kindly asked Bo Hong what it was, and he explained it to me, but he never mentioned the spice. I then decided to take my curiosity to another level and try it. So Bo Hong grabbed me a little bowl and put some noodles into it. I eat the noodles and then I lock eyes with Bo Hong. But he's laughing. And we all know when a person is laughing, you don't know what for, you're most likely getting set up. The noodles began to torch my tongue and I sprinted to the water fountain. And I remember coming back to the room to Bo Hong laughing. This event alone aided the creation of the bond between Bo Hong and me. The diversity of Blue Ridge allows you to learn so much about so many different cultures and locations. This diversity also allows bonds to be formed with people who live across the world. I would have never thought that Bo Hong would go on to be one of my best friends. Blue Ridge helps build this brotherhood that has no limitations on it. Deciding to go away from home and do something nobody where I'm from has done was lonely at first. I first came to Blue Ridge with the mindset of putting my head down and quietly cruising through the 4 years, and we see that didn't happen. I didn't want to make the most of this experience at first due to my guilt from leaving my friends and family behind. As I got settled at BRS, I slowly learned that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. My mindset changed. I began to think about everything Blue Ridge had to offer. precisely the community it provides. The bonds I have built with this class, alumni, underclassmen, have really had an impact on my life and my time here at Blue Ridge. The brotherhood here at Blue Ridge is so strong and unique because we are all here together facing the same problems, specifically the Saturday morning programs. I can truly say that I've made brothers here. The brotherhood also extends beyond the school walls. It radiates to all of the alumni. There are some alumni, if not most, I can call on for anything, and that is the beauty of the school. This opportunity I was given, it was a blessing. If I stayed in Durham, it would have been much easier to go out track and lose focus. Blue Ridge gave me that chance to showcase my talents in many different areas, specifically basketball. Y'all know me. But seriously, I feel like I found myself here. My leadership qualities were brought to the surface quickly due to the character development Blue Ridge guided me through. Blue Ridge helped me, played a huge role in who I am today, but my family played a role also. The support my parents and siblings gave me provided me with the confidence I needed to go to to be the first to go to boarding school. My mom has probably been my biggest supporter throughout my life. Always, you know. She never let me get too distracted from my education, even while living in one of the most dangerous cities. She somehow kept a bubble around me and protected me from all that was happening. My father, no matter what, always reminded me how strong my mind was. He taught me how to present myself to people in order to leave a good impression. My father also explained to me how crucial it was to be a role model for my younger siblings. It's hard being the oldest out of 6. I'm constantly trying to balance being a good example of trying to live my teenage life at the same time. Trying to balance this was a crucial burden at first, but it slowly turned into motivation. My desire to be the best I can for you all is what motivates me to put on this coat and tie every morning. I can't explain how grateful our whole senior class is for the support we received from both the school and our families. 4 years is a long time, but I can stand here today and say that this time was worthwhile. The diversity here opened my eyes to a lot of different things, such as religions and cultures. I guess you can almost say the world was brought to me. I didn't have to travel to learn about the world. It was at my disposal. The strong bonds I created with my fellow senior brothers and underclassmen are also unique and compelling. The seniors here today can agree without mentioning how impactful this community is and what an important role the faculty have played in our lives. Before I end, I want to kindly ask all the seniors to stand up and applaud for those who have supported them through the years. All right, y'all can sit down. All right. Press out. Thank you.
Class of 2022, I agree with Mr. Bonds that this is a bittersweet moment because it's a moment of really important celebration, but it's also a moment of goodbye, and I'm going to miss you guys a lot. Whew. I apologize now for the awkward crying. It's just going to happen. It is time for you to leave Blue Ridge and continue on your journey. But before you leave, I'd like to share a story that I wrote for each of you. Whew. All right, okay. A young man, wrapped in a red blanket, stood alone in a valley surrounded by mountains. As was the tradition in his community, he had been sent out by his people with 2 tasks. He needed to find his true self, and he needed to figure out how he could contribute to his community. As was also the tradition in his community, a person going on a journey of discovery was allowed to take one thing with him, and so the young man had chosen his red blanket. He had been wrapped in the blanket on the day he was born, and it was the most valuable thing he owned. So the young man stood in the valley, feeling unsure of what to do, and as the sun set, thoughts of doubt began to flood his mind. You won't be able to find your purpose. You're not strong enough. You have no idea what you're doing. You're going to fail. You're going to disappoint everyone because you have nothing to offer. Of course, all these thoughts were lies, but the doubts overwhelmed him with fear, and his heart pounded almost out of his chest, and tears fell down his cheeks. At one point in the night, he cried out, Help me, please. I cannot do this alone. But he heard no answer. After what seemed like forever, the sun began to rise, and he heard the faint sound of whistling. The whistling seemed to be coming from behind a large rock formation in the distance, and he was so eager for the company of another human that he began to run towards the whistling. Eventually, he arrived at the rock formation, and as he rounded the corner to meet the whistler, he saw an old man sitting by a fire. The old man stopped his whistling and looked at the young man. The old man saw that the young man had been crying and that he was full of fear. "What is bothering you?" he asked. "I have been sent by my people to find my true self and to find my contribution to my community," the young man said, "and I'm afraid I've already failed. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do or where I'm supposed to go or how I'm supposed to accomplish these tasks." The old man smiled empathetically and nodded his head. "I cannot tell you where to go or how you're going to accomplish your tasks," said the old man, "but I may help you be able to get started on your journey. Take a deep breath and look around this beautiful valley." The young man took a deep breath and then, as if for the first time, began to look around the valley. "As you look around this valley," the old man continued, "you may find something that grabs your attention. Something in this valley may appear even more beautiful than all that surrounds it." And as the words of the old man settled in his mind, the young man was drawn to the peak of the highest mountain at the edge of the valley. And that at that exact moment, the young man knew that the mountain was part of his journey. The old man saw the shift in the young man and spoke. "If that mountain is calling you, then you should take your red blanket and go towards the top of that mountain." The young man felt an instant wave of relief go through his body. Finally, he thought, "I know my purpose. I must take my red blanket and go to the top of the mountain." He thanked the old man and started on his journey. Overjoyed with hope, he ran to the base of the mountain. And there he happened to meet one of his closest childhood friends. They embraced, and then his friend began to walk with him up the gentle incline of the foothill of the mountain. His friend talked and told jokes, but the young man could hardly hear what his friend was saying because he was focused on one thought that kept repeating in his head. "Take the red blanket to the top of the mountain. Take the red blanket to the top of the mountain." At one point, from somewhere deep inside the young man, a voice said, "Slow down and listen to your friend." But the young man replied, "I cannot. I must take this red blanket to the top of the mountain." After a few hours, the young man realized that his friend was no longer by his side. He looked back briefly and shrugged, hoping maybe he'd see him later. But for now, he said to himself, "I must take this red blanket to the top of the mountain." He walked for hours and hours, never taking his eyes off the peak of the very tall mountain. Take the red blanket to the top of the mountain. Take the red blanket to the top of the mountain. His thoughts became a song in his head that helped push him forward. Take the red blanket to the top of the mountain. "Excuse me," a small voice interrupted his thought, and the young man was momentarily pulled out of his trance. Standing before him was a small child, shivering with cold. "Excuse me," said the small child. "Can you help me?" "What are you doing here?" the young man asked. "As you know, there's been a long drought, and I'm looking for water for my family," the small child said. "But I've gotten so cold that I think I must stop my search." The young man sympathetically looked at the child. His community had also been suffering from the long drought, and he also wanted to find water. Then from somewhere deep inside him, a voice said, "Give this child your blanket and help him find the water." The young man began to reach for the red blanket he wore across his shoulders, but the sight of the red blanket caused him to pause. "No," he said to himself, "I must take this red blanket to the top of the mountain." "I'm sorry, small child, but I cannot help you. I think you should find your way home and try again on a warmer day," the young man said to the small child. And with that, he locked his eyes on the peak of the mountain, and he began to walk again. Take the red blanket to the top of the mountain. The thought pushed him forward. Over halfway up the mountain, from somewhere deep inside, a voice said, "Pause here and take a rest." "I cannot rest," said the young man. "I must take this blanket to the top of the mountain." And just as he decided not to rest, the young man passed through a hidden meadow where a shade of trees surrounded a beautiful crystal-clear lake full of clean drinking water. But the young man did not see the meadow or the trees or the beautiful lake, because his eyes were fixed on the top of the mountain, and he had one thought fixed in his head: take the red blanket to the top of the mountain. He walked on, and he was nearing the top now, and though he was exhausted, he knew he would make it. Take the red blanket to the top of the mountain. "Hello, fellow traveler," a voice interrupted. The voice was powerful, and the young man stopped in his tracks. He looked around, and his eyes met the deepest eyes he had ever seen. A peace spread over him, and for the first time on his journey, he felt joy. From somewhere deep inside him, a small voice said, "Stop here and let your love grow." The person who stood before him smiled and reached out a hand, and the young man smiled back and began to reach out his hand. But as he reached out his hand, his arm brushed the red blanket, and the red blanket began to fall. His companion leaned forward to help catch the red blanket, and soon the red blanket was held between them. With the sight of the red blanket catching his attention, the young man's thoughts rushed back to his goal. "I must take my red blanket to the top of the mountain," the young man said. His companion nodded and let go. The young man draped the blanket back across his shoulders and continued his journey. Take the red blanket to the top of the mountain. He walked on for a few more hours, and finally exhausted, he reached the top of the mountain. Overwhelmed with a sense of accomplishment, the young man shouted, "I did it!" And his voice echoed through the mountaintops. He sat down triumphant. This had been the hardest thing he had ever done, and he was proud that he had found the strength and determination to accomplish his goal. "I did it," the young man said to himself. "I took the red blanket to the top of the mountain." But then, from somewhere deep inside the young man, a voice said, "So what?" The young man was confused. Had he not done what the old man told him to do? He sat quietly, and slowly the memory of his conversation with the old man began to play in his mind. He could hear the old man as if he was sitting next to him, and the old man said, "Take your red blanket and go towards the top of the mountain." And at that moment, a voice from deep inside the young man said, "Take your red blanket and go towards the bottom of the mountain." Gentlemen, many years ago, a wise person told me to always go towards my goals rather than to my goals. As you sit here about to embark on your own journey to find your true self and figure out how you can contribute to a community, I would like to pass this wisdom on to you. Go towards your goals rather than to your goals, because in going towards your goals rather than to your goals, you leave room for the amazing possibilities and experiences for your life that right now, sitting in this valley, you don't have the vantage point to see or possibly even dream of. As you make your way towards your mountaintop, there will be moments in your life when a small voice or feeling from deep inside of you speaks to you. Listen to it, because it's the only true compass. On your way towards your goals, you may reach your mountaintop, or you might not. But from my experience, it's not actually the mountaintop that matters. Gentlemen, you are setting forth on your journey to discover who you are and how you can contribute. The world is kind of a messy place, but when I look at you guys, I have hope that it's not going to be as messy for as long. I'm going to miss you a lot, and your journey starts by walking across the stage. So let's do that.
Thank you, Dr. Hermanson. Thank you, Prez. All right. We are now on to the reason why we've all gathered here today, the awarding of diplomas for the class of 2022. First, I would like to introduce our board chair and alumni parent, Mrs. Jill Kalinsky, who will hand diplomas to our graduates, and she promises to smile big for photo ops. Down here in the front, I guess. Thank you. Parents and families and friends of graduates, when I announce your graduate's name, I ask that you please stand so that we can recognize you as well in pride. Hopefully, this is the last time that a commencement is impacted by this pandemic. But this year, we do have 3 graduates who are not able to be here in person, but who with their families join us via live stream from China. So we, the student body, decided that we will name and honor them as the first group of Blue Ridge graduates to get their diplomas. And I think we have some bobbleheads or something over there. Ready? Okay. All right. First is Bohong Zhong Tian from Beijing, China. Accompanied virtually by Mr. Tian Lidong and Mrs. Zhao Ailing, a 4-year student. Joan will attend the University of California, Irvine. Next is Tianlin Tim Wang from Jinan, China. Accompanied virtually by Mr. Wang Yong and Mrs. Ling Yun, a 4-year student. Tim will attend Ohio State University. And then we have Hongzhi Zachary Wen from Beijing, China. Accompanied virtually by Mr. Wen Huatiang and Mrs. Dong Yojing, a 4-year student. Zach will attend Washington University of St. Louis. Next, Derrick Lewis Godwin Jr. from Durham, North Carolina, accompanied by Miss Precious Taylor and Mr. Derrick Godwin Sr., a 4-year student who will attend the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Ruyang Mike Wang, class vice president from Shanghai, China, accompanied by Mr. Wang Qingwen and Mrs. Zhuang Songyang, a 4-year student will attend Boston College. Miguel Ramon Robio de la Nova, class secretary from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, accompanied by Mr. Miguel Robio and Mrs. Carmen de la Naval. A 3-year student will attend Mount St. Mary's University. Houston Luke Emery, class treasurer from Devon, Pennsylvania, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Harold Emery. A 4-year student will attend University of Delaware. Charles Barton Bainham from Blacksburg, Virginia, accompanied by Dr. and Dr. Timothy Bainham. A 1-year student will attend Hood College. Nicholas James Berger from West Lafayette, Indiana, accompanied by Dr. and Dr. Edward Berger and Mr. Jack Berger. A 3-year student will attend Purdue University. Stuart Richard Bloddick from Oakton, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. James Bloddick. A 2-year student will attend Elon University. Robert Morton Boyd Jr. from Prospect, Kentucky, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Robert Boyd Sr., class of 1986, and Mr. Colby Boyd, class of 2019. A 4-year student will attend Berlin International College. Khalik Ilari Sproul Brown from Durham, North Carolina. Accompanied by Mr. Chioke Brown and Mrs. Kirstonia Sproul, a 2-year student will attend Santa Fe Community College. Malik Xavier Brown. Virginia. Accompanied by a lot of people, notable Mr. and Mrs. Preston Brown Sr. will attend Syracuse University. Bui Ngo Duc Huy. Hanoi, Vietnam. Accompanied by Miss Phuyen Bui, a 4-year student will attend University of Wisconsin-Madison. Carl Maybank Bergdorf from Williamsburg, Virginia. Accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Davy Bergdorf and Mr. Michael Bergdorf, a 3-year student will attend Western Carolina University. Peter John Fortune Carden, New Jersey. Accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Herbert Carden, a 3-year student will attend Rollins College. Gabriel Quadro Dedu from Woodbridge, Virginia. Accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Gabriel Dedu, a 3-year student will attend University of Virginia. Let's go, Hoos! Lucas Carlson Dudley from Hampton, Sydney, Virginia. Accompanied by Mr. John Dudley and Mrs. Kelly Malone Dudley, a 3-year student will attend University of Southern California. Owen Kenneth Ferris from St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. Accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Ken Ferris, a 2-year student will attend Canisius College. Andrew Michael Figueres from Sarasota, Florida. Accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Figueres, a 2-year student will attend University of South Carolina. John Reed Hess from Potomac Falls, Virginia. Accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. David Hess, Mr. Jordan Hess, class of 2014, and Mr. Jason Hess, class of 2016. A 3-year student will attend James Madison University. Chiaki Inoue from Tokyo, Japan. Accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Tsuneaki Inoue, a 2-year student will attend American University. Takehiro Ishiguro from Tokyo, Japan. Accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Koji Ishiguro, a 4-year student will attend University of San Francisco. Nathaniel Scott Jaramillo from Falls Church, Virginia. Accompanied by Ms. Amber Schumann, a 2-year student will attend Shenandoah University. Collier Alexander Kinsey from Park City, Utah. Accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Derrick Kinsey, a 3-year student will attend Washington College. Blake Christian Kenning from Dhahran, Saudi Arabia. Accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Wallace Kenning and Mr. Trace Kenning, class of 2020. A 4-year student will attend University of Mississippi. Hongyu Alan Lee from Shanghai, China. Accompanied by Ms. Xu Yinglan, Mr. Shou Gongshi, and Ms. Coraline Xu. A 4-year student will attend Emory University. Jackson Lower Lindsay from Birmingham, Alabama. Accompanied by Ms. Catherine Brooks, Mr. Clint Brooks, Mr. Jonathan Lindsay, Mr. Parker Lindsay, and Ms. Annette Lindsay. A 3-year student will attend University of Alabama. Jacobo Martinez Esteve from Madrid, Spain. Accompanied by Mr. Francisco Martinez, and Mrs. Miriam Esteve, a 2-year student, will attend Universidad de Navarro. Denton Thomas Malaki from Spring Lake, Michigan, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Myron Malaki, a 2-year student, will attend University of Detroit, Mercy. Manel Moros Kerr from Barcelona, Spain, accompanied by Mr. Manel Moros and Mrs. Karma Kerr, a 2-year student, will attend CIS Madrid, Spain. Do it. Ryan Charles Newman from Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Peter Newman, Mr. Zachary Newman, class of 2019, and Mr. Preston Newman, class of 2021. A 3-year student will attend University of Texas at Dallas. Gray Douglas Owen from Louisville, Kentucky, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Douglas Owen III. A 4-year student will attend Arizona State University. Levi Quentin Pegues from Raleigh, North Carolina, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Keith Pegues. A 3-year student will attend Elon University. Tanner Grayson Roca from Culpeper, Virginia, accompanied by Ms. Michelle Roca. A 3-year student will attend West Virginia University. Adam Michael Rudolph from Birmingham, Alabama, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. John Rudolph III, class of 1996, Mr. Barrett Rudolph, Ms. Liza Rudolph, Mr. Michael Rudolph, and Ms. Sandy Rudolph. A 3-year student will attend University of Alabama. Matthew Bradley Sawyer from Galena, Maryland, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Sawyer. A 4-year student will attend Virginia Polytechnic University. Caleb Kai Schick from Ras Tanura, Saudi Arabia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Michael Schick, Ms. Heather Schick, Ms. Maddie Schick, and a whole lot of people on the live stream. A 4-year student will attend Maricopa Community College. Lucas Mackenzie Shoebridge from St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Shoebridge and Miss Nicole Shoebridge. A 2-year student will attend University of Toronto. Samuel Wallace Smart from McLean, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Smart. A 2-year student will attend Michigan State University. John Patrick Tedeschi from Warrenton, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Anthony Tedeschi and Miss Ella Tedeschi. A 2-year student will attend Virginia Commonwealth University. Alfonso Vera Corona from Querétaro, Mexico, accompanied by Mr. Alfonso Vera Jr., Mrs. Maria Corona, Mr. Alfonso Vera Sr., and Mrs. Carmen Artigas. A 2-year student will attend Universidad Panamericana de Mexico. Ruben Emmanuel Walbrook from Glendale, Maryland, accompanied by Mr. Reynolds Walbrook, Mrs. Andrea Walbrook, Mr. R.C. Walbrook Jr., and Miss Sarah Gabrielle Walbrook. A 4-year student will attend Towson University. Devin Tariq Walker, accompanied by Ms. Francois Burton, Mr. Jamel Walker, and Mrs. Annie Smith. A 3-year student, he's deciding among Concord, Newman, and Regis universities. And finally, Colby Wallace Wells from Raleigh, North Carolina, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Brady Wells, Mr. Jacob Wells, and Miss Katie Wells. A 2-year student will attend Eastern Carolina University. On behalf of the faculty and staff of Blue Ridge School, I am very proud, and it is my great honor to present the graduated class of 2022. Give it up for This is my final opportunity to thank all of you parents and families in attendance today. I offer you my congratulations for partnering, and thank you for partnering Blue Ridge School to see these fine young men to the finish line. I now turn it over to Kathy Boyd for the benediction.
Before the benediction, some stage directions. Per Blue Ridge School tradition, we will recess, and then the boys will get ready for their lake jump. So please keep the aisles clear as the thundering herd comes by. Let us pray. As your high school career is now complete, may you strive towards excellence in all you do. As the speeches conclude, may your voices rise up to pronounce justice and peace in the world. As the fanfares cease, may you sing of joy even in the dark and lonely places. As the applause quiets, may you celebrate and lift up those around you. As you graduate today, may your achievements grow and cause growth in your communities. And may we all know of the overwhelming blessings of the one who created all things. Amen. Go in peace to love and serve.
How'd it go? Okay, you can't go over there. It's awesome. Yes, sir. Who's three at last? Tor, you did, man? Yeah, I did. Just by the skin of my teeth. Oh!
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! I'm so proud. I am so proud. The cheering section, man. I love you! I miss you guys. I'm at Blue Ridge. I'm at Miller. I'm at Miller School.